Folks, we have a new Sora competitor. Now, if you've been following my channel, I have featured some other very realistic video generators in the past, such as Vidu by Chinese company Shengshu, and also Google's Veo. But I would say Sora is still more realistic and more coherent. But today, we have a new video generator announced called Kling, and this produces super realistic results that I think are really comparable to Sora. They claim that you can generate up to 2 minutes of video at 30 frames per second and full HD, so 180p. Let me play you some examples. Alright, so here's the prompt for this one, and note that the prompt was written in Chinese, so I'm just giving you the English translation of it, but this is a close-up of a bright blue parrot's feathers glittering in the light, showing its unique plumage and vibrant colors. Next, we have a Chinese boy wearing glasses enjoying a delicious cheeseburger with eyes closed in a fast food restaurant. This is just so realistic. How his mouth moves, how he chews the food, how some of the crumbs are caught at the edges of his mouth, and his hands. He does have 5 fingers, and they all look very realistic. I really can't find any flaws with this video. This is insanely good. Here's another one, a Chinese man sitting at a table eating noodles with his chopsticks. Again, that bowl of noodles just looks so realistic. And then the way he eats, the way he slurps the noodles, this is just insanely good to me. I can't find any flaws with this. Here we have little boy riding his bike in the garden through the changing seasons of fall, winter, spring, and summer. Now, this tool can generate up to 2 minutes of videos, so as you can see here, this is one of the longer generations where it uses up the full 2 minutes. This is really good. You can see that it is following the prompt. It's changing from fall to winter, and then I assume it's going to change into spring soon. Notice how everything is quite consistent. The sunlight, the kid riding the bike, the road, and all the objects to the side of the road. Everything is just very consistent and realistic. As you'll notice with some of the video generators that are out there already, especially the older players such as Runway and Pika Labs, they cannot generate these high movement or high action videos. They can mostly only do like panning or zooming. It's very stationary and you're very limited to the amount of movement you can generate in the video. But you can see with a tool like Kling, it frees up a lot of possibilities. This is very realistic and coherent. Here's another one. A giant panda playing guitar by the lake. Very realistic. Notice the light reflections of the guitar. Notice the very sharp details of the panda's fur, and then the ripples in the water. This is just all very realistic. This one is cute. A little white rabbit wearing glasses is sitting on a chair in a cafe and reading a newspaper. There is a cup of hot coffee on the table. You can see how this can easily be used for a Pixar movie. Again, note the super sharp details of the fur and the realistic movements of the smoke from the cup. Here's another one. This is an emperor angelfish with yellow and blue stripes, swims in a rocky underwater habitat. Now, I'm not sure what an emperor angelfish is, so let me do a quick image search. And wow, it does look exactly like the fish in the video. Or it should be the other way around. The fish in the video does look like an emperor angelfish, so it follows this prompt very well. Here's another example, a hand pouring milk from a steel milk frother into a cup of coffee on the table with a blurred kitchen in the background. And again, it follows the prompt exactly. You can see here, it just generates this very realistically. Alright, next one. This is 2 flowers slowly blooming against a black background, showing the delicate petals and stamens. Stamens? And you can see that is exactly what it generates. A car driving on the road in the evening with a gorgeous sunset and tranquil scenery reflected in the rearview mirror. There are some flaws that I've spotted here. Mostly this highway sign. You can see the bars are not really straight or realistic. And I've noticed this flaw with all image and video generators so far. So for example, for Stable Diffusion, if you get it to generate a sword or guitar strings, it usually fails to generate the entire thing. So, anything that is linear, somehow it fails to generate this correctly. You can see with the bars connected to this highway sign, it's kind of the same issue. I'm assuming they're using some variant of a diffusion model. But other than that, everything looks very realistic. I'm very impressed by, how the light of the sunset is reflected onto the car's side. It clearly understands real-world physics very well. An astronaut runs on the surface of the moon. The low-angle shot shows the vast background of the moon. The movement is smooth and light. Again, very nice. There are some very slight inconsistencies with the guy's hand as he moves. Notice this part here where his hand just kind of disappears and then reappears in a different position. But I really love the generation of the moon's surface. You can see this looks very 3D and realistic. Alright, so here is a man riding a horse through the Gobi Desert with a beautiful sunset behind him. Movie quality. Again, very realistic. Look at the movement of the horse's tail, the movement of the sand dust as the horse gallops across the desert. Everything just looks very realistic, and it does show that it understands real-world physics. Here is a rally car taking a fast turn on the track. Overall, the car does remain consistent and coherent. There are some deformations along the edges, but it's very minor and it's really hard to notice. Here is a chef chopping onions in the kitchen for the preparation of the dish. Again, he has 5 fingers on each hand, plus it does indeed look like he is chopping onions. And look at the reflection of the knife. This is just so impressive. And also the cutting board is a bit wet, so you can see some reflections as well. Here the prompt is carefully pour the milk into the cup. The milk flows steadily and the cup is gradually filled with milky white. Again, this is a direct translation, but you can see that is exactly what it does. And there are slight differences on how different liquids move. So the way milk is poured looks slightly different from how juice is poured or how water is poured. And it does generate this milk very well. You can tell it's milk and not some other liquid. All right, next we have a Lego man visiting an art gallery. Again, the way that light reflects off of this guy, it's very realistic. And notice how the movements of this video are slightly faster than Sora. Everything in Sora seems to be slow motion, but you can see this guy actually walks at a normal pace. Here we have a white cat driving a car through a busy downtown street with tall buildings and pedestrians in the background. What a cutie. Again, everything just looks very realistic. There are a lot of video generators that are based on Stable Diffusion that cannot generate cars and traffic and pedestrians very well. They usually just warp in shape and there's a lot of weird deformations going on. But you can see in this video, the cars and the pedestrians are very consistent. Notice the reflections on the front of the car. Again, just very realistic. Here is macro lens, volcano erupting in a coffee cup. This is quite similar to Sora's, pirate ship swirling in a cup of coffee example, where this example does not exist in real life. It's pretty safe to say there is no example of a pirate ship swirling in a cup of coffee. There's no video of that it could have used for training. And same with this example. There's probably no real video out there of a volcano erupting in a coffee cup in real life, which it used as training data. But here you can see it does have a sense of creativity in that it can kind of guess or create the effect of a volcano erupting in a coffee cup, even though it has never seen that training data before. So again, I am just very impressed by this. So here the prompt is a man and woman walking hand in hand under a starry sky with the stars moving in the background. In this example, the night sky isn't too realistic, so you can see the stars kind of warp in shape over time. Here the prompt is chimney under the sunset. I just love, the time-lapse movement of the clouds, of the smoke, of the sun setting. Everything just looks so perfect and so real. I can't spot any flaws with this. Here the prompt is dew on blue rose petals, HD, close-up, detailed. And again, it just generates this very nicely. There is some weird tiny leaf moving over here. I'm not sure what that is, but other than that, the blue rose looks super realistic. The water droplets on the petals also look very realistic. Thanks to our sponsor, Brilliant. Brilliant is where you learn by doing, with thousands of interactive lessons in math, data analysis, programming, and AI. As a busy guy with a full-time job, it's really hard to learn anything in my spare time, but Brilliant makes this super easy. Brilliant helps you build real knowledge in minutes a day, with fun lessons you can do whenever you have time. It's a very effective way to learn. Their first principles approach helps you understand things from the ground up, and all the content is designed by teachers and experts from MIT, Caltech, Duke, Microsoft, Google, and more. Each lesson has hands-on problem solving, so instead of just watching lecture videos, you actually learn to solve the problems yourself, and this is proven to be 6 times more effective in learning. Their course on how LLMs work really helped me get a solid understanding of, well, how LLMs work. Try Brilliant for free for a full 30 days via the link in the description below. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Now back to the video. Alright, here we have a corgi wearing sunglasses walking on the beach of a tropical island. And here it shows that it has multi-resolution support. So the first one is horizontal, next we can have it square, but it can also generate vertical, as you can see here. And again, notice the waves, super realistic. The shadow of the corgi, also very realistic. It does follow the corgi as it walks. And then notice the slight reflection of the corgi on the wet sand. Just incredibly realistic. I would not be able to tell that this was an AI-generated video if I saw this on TikTok or Instagram. Here's another longer generation. So the prompt here is take a train and see a variety of scenery through the window. And again, they claim that it can generate a video up to 2 minutes long. So this one is a longer generation. Now, I would say this is the example with the most noticeable errors. So for example, the leaves are not really consistent and they don't seem realistic at times. I do like the seamless transition from an autumn environment to a winter environment. It was a very smooth transition. So you can see here the pine trees don't really look realistic, and then they're kind of warping into different shapes, especially the edges. You can see there are some noticeable inconsistencies. Again, very nice and smooth transition now into a spring environment, but you can see anything linear like highways, roads, power lines, it can't really maintain that linear shape, and this is a known flaw with all the Stable Diffusion tools that I've used before. And it looks like now we are entering a tropical summer setting. Very nice. Alright, so those are all the examples. Let me actually show you what it can do and how you can download it. So this is a Chinese company, so their website is in Chinese. The URL is kling.kuaishou.com, which I'll add in the description below. Now, I am just going to click on Chrome and then translate this to English. And then you can see some further examples here. So here it says Kling adopts a 3D spatial temporal joint attention mechanism, which can better model complex spatial temporal motion and generate video content with larger movements while conforming to the laws of physics, I assume. And then here it says, thanks to efficient training infrastructure, Kling can generate videos up to 2 minutes long with a frame rate of 30 frames per second. Plus, it can generate in full HD, so 1080p. Here it says it can simulate the physical properties of the real world and generate videos that conform to these physical properties, I assume. Aha, so this sentence is key. So based on deep understanding of text video semantics and powerful capabilities of the diffusion transformer architecture, Kling is able to transform users' imagination into concrete images, etc., etc. So this is key here. They are using a diffusion and transformer architecture. I would assume that is what Sora and Google's Veo and Shengshu's Vidu uses as well. This is basically like if Stable Diffusion and ChatGPT had a kid. It's basically mixing a diffusion model with a transformer model, which is used in large language models, and this gives it better context understanding. And this is definitely the next generation of video generators. It's mixing this transformer model with the diffusion model. If you've played around with previous video generators on Stable Diffusion, well, those were only based on the diffusion architecture, so you can see it's very inconsistent, and you get a lot of hallucinations and strange results from it. But after you mix in a transformer architecture, not only does it follow the prompt better, but it gives you a lot more consistent results. Based on the self-developed 3D VAE, Kling can generate movie-level videos up to 1080p resolution, which is awesome. And here, as I showed you before, you can output a variety of different aspect ratios, such as horizontal, square, or vertical. And it also has more you can do with this. So it says based on a self-developed 3D face and body reconstruction technology, with only a full body photo, you can experience the vivid singing and dancing gameplay. Basically, with only one photo and the pose model of someone dancing, well, you can apply this dance to this photo, as you can see here. And again, the results from this are very coherent. I'm just comparing this to like previous Stable Diffusion video generators that have the same effect, but it's very noisy and the face and the limbs, they're not consistent at all, as you can see here. But in this example, it's very good. Alright, so how do you download this and use it? Well, get ready for the bad news. The bad news is you cannot use it yet. You can join their waitlist, but you need to have a Chinese number, or I believe your location has to be in China. But in case you do have a Chinese number, I'll show you how to join their waitlist. So first of all, you need to go to their main site, which is called Kuaiying. So again, I'll link to that in the description below. It's basically kuaiying.com. And in the top banner, you should see this button, which basically downloads an APK to your phone. Now, I have not scanned this for malware or anything, so download this at your own discretion. And so after you've downloaded the APK, just run it to install it, and then you should have this Kuaiying app on your phone. If you click on that, this is just their terms and conditions or disclaimer, so click on agree. All right, and then you should have this AI button here, which I do have. I have an AI button right here, and this takes you to all the AI capabilities that it has. However, because I'm not located in China right now and I don't have a Chinese phone number, I actually don't have access to the video generation feature. So all I can do is generate images or like short videos, but I don't have this new Kling feature. But here's what it should look like. So if you're lucky enough to have a Chinese phone number or somehow your app shows this, then perfect, you can join the waitlist. Basically, you should see an icon which says AI video generation and then with a panda playing a guitar. And then this button is what you would click to join the waitlist. And yes, unfortunately, as of right now, this is the only way to join their waitlist. So there's no like website form you can fill out. You have to download the app and see if you see this icon with a panda playing a guitar, and then click on join waitlist. So that's all we know about Kling so far, but just from their examples that they showcased, this looks super realistic, and I would say this is Sora-level. Now again, with like almost all the video generators out there, this includes Vidu, this includes Sora, this includes Google Veo, well, they haven't actually given access to the public yet, so maybe all of these are just cherry-picked examples and it actually sucks in real life. We don't know until we get our hands on it and we can test this out ourselves. But just based on their demo videos and just comparing this to Sora's demo videos, this new Kling video generator does look very good. So that sums up Kling and its capabilities. I'll keep you posted as soon as I get more news on how, the rest of us can join the waitlist or get access to this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this is as good as Sora or even better than Sora? Are you frustrated that all of these companies are announcing these awesome realistic video generators, but none of them are actually being released yet? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Also, we built a site where you can find all the AI tools out there, as well as look for jobs in AI, machine learning, data science, and more. Check it out at ai-search.io. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.